basically went out to Evergreen Cemetery and spoke to the caretaker out there, and he pulled out the records.
Yeah.
And we asked him that we were looking for Horatio Homer,
Yep.
and we found out that he was buried in the
Lot number 1,000 or something.
right.
Yep.
He was buried in the 1,000 area of the cemetery.
Sure.
And what we did was we walked up to that area, and he gave me a couple of reference points. He said, look for this stone and that stone.
Yep.
At that time, I didn't know there was
So
no
between
stone.
Jones and Smith or whatever.
Correct.
Okay.
And so we took a walk up there and looked around, and I couldn't find any stone
Yeah.
to pinpoint his location.
Basically, a couple gravestones and a big empty space in between the two stones he told you to use as reference points.
Correct.
Okay.
And we looked at the area, and I went back to, I thought I was missing something, maybe I was in the wrong location or
Yeah.
something. I went back to the caretaker. He walked back out to the area with me, and he pointed out, he says, no, you're in the right area, and he pointed down, he said, he's buried right here in 1001, and his wife's buried in 1002, and they're side-by-side plots.
But no marking, no stone.
No marking at all.
Yep, okay.
So we brought this to the attention of the commissioner, who was on board right away, and he wanted this taken care of with Chief Linsky, and they informed me that this was the #1 priority,
Yep.
that we were to take care of this as soon as possible.
I'm good at the dumb questions, but another dumb question. So why was this such a priority? Why was it so important to remedy this?
Well, I think it's a priority because it's history. Our department is the oldest, in the nation's oldest police department in the country, and to find someone such as Horatio to get a marker in place to show that his service is not forgotten by the Boston Police Department.
Mm-hmm. And so you to right the wrong and get the gravestone to remember Horatio. What's that process? Do you put it out and say, hey guys, we're looking to raise funds to make sure that we can get a gravestone to mark his plot? What happens from there? Once you make the decision that you have to correct this.
Well, I'm the union representative for the Boston Police Patrolmen's Association in East Boston, and what I did was I brought this up to the Patrolmen's Association, who jumped at the chance to be the first one in on it, and they gave us some money to start the funding to get the stone. And then the superior offices funded, the Boston Police Relief Association funded, the Detectives Association funded, Mamelo funded.
Yep.
And we had some outside agencies like the VFW, Post 1018, they funded. Deputy Superintendent William Gross. He also put up money of himself.
Not surprised about that.
I'll be honest with you, I put up money myself to fund this.
Awesome.
And, you know, we spoke to other one, a former retired Sergeant Don Green, he put up money also to help fund this.
So it's not a tough sell. But what's the approach, or what is the sell? Hey guys, listen, we get a chance to right or wrong. We have the first African-American officer in the history of our department, and no gravestone.
Correct. I think
so. I imagine people would be eager to help out that kind of cause.
It wasn't a hard sell for the unions.
Yep.
All the unions were on board right away.
Right away.
They all wanted to be part of this, and I understand it because, you know, like we said, we don't forget our own, and we all wear blue. Color does not make a difference on this job. If you're ever in trouble out on the street and you have an officer in trouble call, you don't care what color the person is that shows up. They're all wearing blue, and they all help each other out.
A great point to be made there. But let me ask you this, though. So what was was there a reason why? I mean, obviously, it's a financial question, but you had told me, you know, when he died, he retired after a 40-year service, got a pension, but when he passed away, back then, although he was married, his pension died with him.
Correct.
Was that part of the reason maybe it was, or was it just the times themselves, tough economically, money tight?
I think what happened was trying to put the pieces together that when he retired, he was making $875 a year.
Right.
When he passed
half of what he was making as a sergeant in the police department.
Correct.
Okay.
And they get 50% when you retired in those years. When he passed away, the pension died with him.
Yep.
So we honestly believe that they didn't have any money to really bury him.
Yeah.
So the city owns that graveyard in Evergreen.
Yep.
They approached the Evergreen through the city, and they were given 2 lots over there, and they were able to bury Sergeant Homer. Unfortunately, his wife didn't make a lot of money.
Yeah.
She was started bringing in clothing and stuff like that to
But like
try
you
to
say,
make
though,
ends
back
meet.
then, today, if somebody dies in the line of duty or dies in the job or whatever, that retirement, that pension goes to
To the wife.
the widow or the
Correct.
wife. Back then, it didn't.
That's correct.
So to turn to her and say, hey, listen, we need you to pay for the stone, it was kind of an unreasonable request to make,
Right, and in those days,
or a lot to ask.
and in those days, a stone probably cost $200-300, which at that time was equivalent to a year's salary,
Right.
half a year's salary.
Yep, a quarter of a year's salary.
And I honestly believe that she didn't have the money to order the front this.
Yep.
And time went on,
Yep.
and it was overlooked for years and years down the line. I mean, he had 2 young sons at
Sure.
the time, and the wife was trying to make ends meet. And unfortunately, she passed away
Yep.
at a young age also.
Yep.
Well, he passed away at 77 years of age, but she passed away at a younger age.
Okay. 18, just to kind of put the time frame in perspective. So he's hired in 1878. Civil War goes from 1861 to 1865. We know about the 54th Regiment,
Correct.
the all African American regiment from here. Not a lot of time in between the two. Did their popularity, if you will, influence him? Influence the city's decision to hire the first African American officer? Any connection between those two?
Well, we believe that when Sergeant Homer was appointed to the job, he was appointed to the job on December 24th
Yeah.
of 1878, which was Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve, yeah.
It was kind of interesting, and he was appointed as a messenger. He was a police officer, but he was the title of a messenger at headquarters. And basically, he was kind of like we said it before, he was the gatekeeper.
Yep.
He was the person that was in charge of having people come in and out of the office. He's also delivered orders throughout the districts at that time.
Inside personnel, if you will.
Correct.
Okay, so he's inside. And we're talking about Horatio Homer, the first African-American officer in the history of the Boston Police Department. How tough was it for this guy? I mean,
Well,
I imagine, obviously, prejudices, racism, things like that back in 1878. I mean, how unbelievable was this hiring of the first African-American officer? Was it met with, disdain or problems, or did it just kind of happen?
Speaking for that, I can't really speak that far back because I don't know the mindset in those days.
Yeah.
But I mean, he had to persevere, and he had a lot of determination
Right.
to become the first African American police officer. So you can see that he had to overcome his own obstacles. In those days, an African American police officer was not allowed to go out on the street
Right.
to patrol the streets. And it's the same, if you look at it, even the Irish American police officers, when they first came on the job, they weren't allowed to go out in the street. They sat at the front desk.
So his career was inside. 40
Correct.
years inside working as the messenger, which
On occasion, he worked a Sunday out on the street.
Yep.
On occasion.
was he? I mean, and it's I know I'm asking you tough questions, but was he aware of his status at the time? Was he aware that, wow, I'm the first African American officer to join this police department? Do you think he was aware of that, or over time?
I think at first he probably did.
Yeah.
He's speaking out of turn. I would say that he probably did. I mean, Sergeant Homer, if you checked his background and you found out, here's an individual that was able to play 11 musical instruments.
Yeah.
And he was unbelievable.
Talented.
I mean, if you look at the picture of him, also on his left hand, there's a distinctive ring that we believe might be a Mason's ring. So
Okay.
he might have been part of the Masons at the time.
So in 1919, he retires. And it's funny, I mean, again, historically, we look back, Jackie Robinson breaking the color barrier of baseball, Willie O'Ree
Right.
in hockey. He's the Jackie Robinson of policing for Boston. When he retired, do you think any readings, any writings, anything that says that, wow, I was aware of what I did. I made it easier for those who came after me. Anything like that?